Responding to passive-aggressive behavior. Part 1. This unit covers the following subtopics. When someone is overtly aggressive towards you, their intention is clear, making it easier to decide on a course of action, such as, I need to steer clear of this person, or I need to report this behavior. However, with a passive-aggressive person, it's much harder to make such decisions. We've all experienced the frustration of passive-aggressive remarks that are cloaked in sarcasm and a smile. These behaviors often leave us seething, unsure of how to respond. Examples include a critical comment delivered with a big smile, silence when you know they can hear you, statements like, but you didn't tell me I had to do it that way. What exactly is passive aggressiveness? Passive aggressive behavior is the subtle expression of negative feelings through actions rather than direct communication. This creates a disconnect between what a person says and what they do. For instance, imagine someone at work proposing a plan. A passive-aggressive person might say they agree with the plan, but since they're actually opposed to it, they resist it subtly. They may miss deadlines, arrive late to meetings, or undermine the plan in other ways. Passive-aggressive behavior is often denied or accompanied by blame-shifting statements such as, I didn't mean it the way you took it. You're being too sensitive. I was just kidding. Despite their words, you know their intent wasn't innocent. The purpose of passive-aggressive behavior is to avoid responsibility for one's actions, often leaving the recipient doubting themselves. In some cases, this behavior can be more distressing than overt aggression because it causes uncertainty and self-doubt. The hostility often stems from miscommunication, a failure to communicate directly, or the assumption that others understand their thoughts or feelings. This communication style is particularly challenging to address because it's difficult to pinpoint what you're dealing with. Clinical psychologist Albert Bernstein aptly refers to passive-aggressive individuals as emotional vampires who drain others emotionally. While modern corporate culture has reduced overt aggression, this has pushed manipulative behavior underground. People resort to passive aggression to appear polite while being covertly subversive. To manage these behaviors effectively, it's essential to identify their underlying motives and adapt your communication style to prevent them from achieving their goals. How to identify passive-aggressive behavior. The first step in managing passive aggression is recognizing its different forms. There are two types of it: non-malicious and malicious. Non-malicious passive aggressiveness. This one occurs when someone manipulates you without intending to harm you. They may deny or suppress their negative feelings, but these emotions eventually manifest through body language or tone. Their attempts to maintain a positive image often stem from insecurity and a desire to feel complete and secure. Whether intentional or not, they confuse and guilt-trip you as a means of control. Signs include being disagreeable or irritable. I wish I could afford a new car like yours, but all my money goes to student loans. I can't get over how sensitive you've become. Procrastinating or being forgetful, missing deadlines and pretending ignorance when a coworker relies on them, backing out of commitments at the last minute, blaming others. You know I'm grumpy in the morning? Why would you ask me to do chores? You should have known that. Complaining about being unappreciated. Nothing I do is ever enough. I have the worst luck. Displaying resentment towards others' demands. Oh, you needed me to submit the TPS reports? I didn't realize you meant those reports. Using the silent treatment, ignoring texts, emails, or calls. Failing to acknowledge someone in person. Playing the victim. Complaining endlessly about their circumstances. Acting sullen and miserable. Malicious passive aggressiveness. A malicious passive aggressive person doesn't care about your well-being and actively seeks to harm you while avoiding accountability for their actions. Their goal is to provoke anger and make you appear unreasonable while they maintain an innocent facade. Signs include frequent criticism or protests. Who wrote this report? A first grader? You shouldn't handle that task. It's not your cup of tea. Performing tasks inefficiently, leaving work unfinished, or dumping it on you at the last minute to make you look bad. Acting hostile or cynical. I don't want to discuss this. I don't want to fight, so let's drop it. Acting stubborn. Defending a position solely to irritate others, not because they genuinely believe it. Disguising criticism as compliments. It's a nice starter home. I love your dress, but I think I'm too skinny for that style. Withholding something valuable as leverage. Acknowledging your contributions only when you comply with their demands. Intentional sabotage. Spreading false gossip. Withholding vital information such as a deadline change to engineer failure. Asking confrontational questions. Are you for real? Are you crazy? Excluding you. Leaving you out of meetings or withholding critical information. Both non-malicious and malicious passive aggression are rooted in insecurity and self-protection. A person may justify their behavior by believing they are acting in your best interest, even when their actions are hurtful. Direct confrontation often leads to blame shifting rather than resolution. For example, friend, I think you need to watch your weight. You, please don't go there. Friend, I'm not criticizing. I'm just concerned about your health. Instead of escalating the situation, recognizing the intent behind their behavior can help you respond effectively. You, I know you care about me, but when you comment on what I eat, it feels like criticism rather than concern.